Okay, this is a message to e-gauges, and it's regarding the tachometer that I recently purchased and installed. Now, the way I installed it was according to these directions, specifically to the ignition coil. So I followed all the wiring according to this, and I also, since this car that I'm in, the Volvo 244 DL, is a 4-cylinder, I went ahead and used this configuration in the back of this tachometer. Now, the issue that I'm having is when I have it all plugged in and set to go, I turn the car on and it doesn't want to start. So I undo some of the wiring in the back of this thing, and I start the car again, and it runs just fine. But when I try to connect this back together, the car stops. And I'm wondering, is there something wrong with my wiring? Is there something wrong with the gauge? I'm gonna go ahead and make videos and show you my wiring and show you what happens when I plug things in, unplug things. Maybe that'll give you guys a better idea of what's going on. Alright. Okay, I'm following this configuration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in the ground into the negative terminal, and I'll show you right here of what happens. So let me put it on. Okay, everything is plugged in, the ground is in on the negative terminal. The tachometer wire is in, the red and white one. The power source is plugged in right there. And the lights are plugged in, both the light wire and the ground wire. So this follows exactly what this is saying right here. And let me show you what happens when I try to turn the car on. So it doesn't start at that point, but the electrical still works, the radio works. So I'll try that again. It won't start. Okay. Now this is what happens when I go ahead and disconnect the ground or the tachometer.
And I love the description that Shipley gives of early Christians. Christians are those who have found a joy
Okay. You can see the ground is removed. Everything else is connected still. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to turn it on. Alright, it starts right up.
And mayhem, there was a joy-producing people, the Christians, and Cyprian became one of them. You see, the church...
Okay, I just turned it off. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect more parts, just to show you other examples of what's going on.
In the midst of a desert of hopelessness.
Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and start the car with the ground disconnected. Okay, the car started. Everything's working fine. Now I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the ground. Here we go. Alright, watch this. Okay, the car just shut off once I placed the ground in. The electrical still works, the radio still works.
That's where you find your joy.
Alright.
And it's your responsibility.
Alright, now this time everything is unplugged except for the tachometer wire, which is still connected. And I'm going to go ahead and start the car. So the car started. All the electrical works. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the ground again. Good. Ground. Yep. The car stalls. Electrical still works.
You'll have new devotionals delivered automatically from Philip's desk to your inbox every week. It's also an easy way to share biblical encouragement.
Okay. Now this time around, I'm going to go ahead and plug in other parts, not the ground, but say the power supply this time around, and we'll see what happens. First I'll turn it on. Car's on, and it's rolling. So this time I'm not going to put the ground in. I'm going to put the power supply in. See, nothing happens. And I'm going to put in the light, the ground for the light. Nothing happens. The light. Nothing happens. Good. I'm going to put in the ground for the tachometer. Shuts off. Yep, there we go, it shuts off. Electrical's still on. Alright, now I have everything unplugged, and I'm going to go ahead and show you something. I'm going to put the luminaries plug into the tachometer area. So, in the tachometer area. I'm going to put the power supply in. And I'm going to put the ground in. There you are. Ground.
Mateo, thank you so much for all this valuable information. To find out more about personalized cremation,
Okay. So I'm going to turn the car on. So it starts. Alright, now bear in mind I have the light switch in the tachometer spot, and I'm going to turn the lights on. Looks like I get some power, and I'm not sure why when I turn on the gas. Seems like it works now.
So it's really important that they understand that risk management is so key to success in the markets. Without proper education, you're just going to continue to waste money over and over again.
that lack of education can be one of the most expensive things we have. And there's all sorts of schools out there. Probably one of the most popular schools, one of the most famous schools, and one of the most expensive schools is that school of hard knocks, where we all know the colors are black and blue. Right now we have a half-day class coming out.
Not sure how accurate that is. Now that I'm placing the light wire in there. But okay, here's the last video. As you can see, I have the power supply attached to the number 1 of the coil, and that attaches to number 2 inside the tachometer. And then here are the grounds. This is the ground for the light, and this is the ground for the tachometer itself. Now, I'm just wondering if this is okay to have the grounds in this spot. I'm having it on bare metal, and I'm wondering if the rust does anything. So, hopefully this video gives you guys a clue what's going on with my tachometer and my vehicle. So we'll see what happens. I'll try to send these all to you guys. Alright. Alright, I'm back in the car. And this time around, I have the tachometer wire, the red and white one, into the light socket. And the ground's attached, and all the other ones are attached. The light wire is attached to the tachometer spot. This is an interesting thing that happens. Get that thing to balance. I'm gonna pull the light bulb out. Okay. Now the light bulb's exposed. Now this is what happens when I turn on the engine. So the tachometer wire appears to make the light bulb work, and it makes it flash. And it's not controlled by the switch either. So it's still on, whether it's on. If I turn it off, it's still on. But because the light switch, or sorry, the light wire is attached to the tachometer spot, that's controlled by the switch. See? It's on, the switch is on, and now the tachometer works. Now, my main question is, throughout all these videos, is why does the tachometer wire, this one right here, the one with the red and white wire, why does it not work when it's in place, in this place right here where it's supposed to be, to work constantly, independently of the switch? Is there something wrong with the tachometer wire itself that causes it not to operate properly to this device? Anyways, hopefully all these videos gives you guys an idea of what I'm going through. As far as I know, it seems to work, but it only works when I have the switch on and when my tail lights are on and when all the LED lights are on. But if I turn off the lights, it stops working. Don't know why. Anyways, hope you guys can help. Take care.